Hawthorn Ridge is a town where the dawn arrives slowly and the streets are empty. Nestled between rolling hills and thick forests, it has always been a place where neighbors know each other, and nothing ever seems to change. But beneath this quiet, under the cover of early morning fog, a shadow was about to fall, a shadow that would forever disrupt this peaceful town. Mara Linton, 29 years old, was the heart of this community. Bright, kind, and full of laughter, she moved through life like sunlight in a window. That morning, she made coffee, smiled at her reflection, and carried on with her routine, unaware that it would be the last morning she would spend in her home. In a place where everyone knows your name, no one would know what had happened to her yet. By 7:14 p.m., Mara left her house. A neighbor recalled seeing her walk toward her car, a small figure bathed in the dying light of sunset. The street was quiet, the air still. No one followed her. No one noticed her disappearance. And yet, as the shadows lengthened, the calm was broken. Her life would soon take a terrifying turn. By the following morning, Mara was nowhere to be found. Friends, worried and desperate, called the police. A missing person report was filed, but there were no signs of a struggle, no witnesses, no clues. In towns like Hawthorn Ridge, disappearance is rare. The case had already begun to cast a chilling shadow over everyone connected to her life. Detectives Hall and Mason were assigned to the case, both seasoned, methodical, and relentless. Yet the quiet streets offered them no leads. As they reviewed Mara's life, her friends, her routines, a grim pattern began to emerge. A night where the ordinary would meet the unimaginable, and no one would see it coming. The detectives began the painstaking process of interviewing neighbors. Door by door, they asked questions, searched for any hint of disturbance. Most remembered nothing unusual, but one neighbor mentioned a strange vehicle lingering just down the street, a detail that would become crucial as the investigation unfolded. A dark van seen idling near Mara's home the night she vanished. No license plate, no driver identified. Just a lingering presence in the quiet suburb. To anyone else, it might have seemed ordinary, but to detectives, it was the first thread in a web of mystery that would soon entangle the town completely. As night fell, search parties took to the surrounding woods. Flashlights cut through the thick fog, casting long, trembling shadows on the trees. Volunteers called Mara's name, their voices swallowed by the forest. Hours passed, the fog thickened, and still there was no trace of her. Only the cold realization that she might never be found easily. Near the creek, officers found Mara's phone. Cracked, waterlogged, and abandoned, it hinted at a struggle. Every small detail became significant. Fingerprints, blood, or even the way it lay in the mud could tell the story the town could not yet hear. Her life had been interrupted, violently, and the evidence began to whisper its first truths. Mara's family was inconsolable. Her mother's voice shook with desperation as she described her daughter's disappearance. Cameras captured grief, unfiltered and raw. The detectives promised answers, but even they understood that grief could not wait for truth. And in Hawthorn Ridge, truth would come slowly and not without cost. Analyzing Mara's phone data revealed a ping far from her home, 2 miles into the forest on a rarely traveled farm road. Every digital footprint is a clue, and this one placed her in the path of danger. The detectives' hearts sank. They knew this wasn't random, and someone had lured her into the shadows of the night. Officers traced the coordinates to an abandoned barn, its windows shattered and roof sagging. Inside, the air was thick with dust and something else, a presence. Every step echoed on the worn wooden floorboards, the kind of place where secrets are kept and horrors unfold quietly away from the eyes of the world. On the floor, traces of blood. Forensic tests would confirm it belonged to Mara. A single drop can tell a story, a trail can reveal a struggle, and here, the barn itself seemed to mourn the violence that had touched its walls. In the silence, the detectives felt the weight of the truth waiting to be uncovered. The DNA samples told another story. There was more than one person involved. A new thread emerged pointing to someone close, someone who knew Mara's routine. Each revelation tightened the net, but it also deepened the dread. The killer was no stranger. They were familiar, and that made the danger even more insidious. The DNA matched Victor Hales, Mara's ex-boyfriend, a man who once shared her life, her trust, her secrets. Now he became the prime suspect. Faces change, hearts harden, and sometimes love turns into something darker. Detective intuition whispered that he knew more than he admitted, and soon the investigation would turn personal. Victor sat under harsh fluorescent lights, his hands clenched, eyes darting. He insisted on innocence, but contradictions spilled like ink across his statements. The detectives pressed, unraveling his timeline, knowing every pause, every hesitation could reveal a lie. And in this room, the truth waited, hidden in the spaces between words. Nearby traffic cameras caught Victor's car heading toward the barn that night. The grainy images offered proof, yet the world seemed muted, almost dreamlike. Each frame whispered guilt. Each shadowed movement hinted at the terrible events yet to be fully understood. Victor's alibi crumbled under scrutiny. Friends' testimonies, surveillance footage, and phone records left him exposed. Suddenly, the man who claimed innocence was now the person the detectives could not ignore. He was at the heart of Mara's disappearance, and everything depended on what he would say next. Before police could act, Victor disappeared into the night. Tires screeched on empty roads, headlights vanished in the fog, and a manhunt began. In Hawthorn Ridge, the fear grew palpable. The one who caused the nightmare now roamed free, and the community's quiet life had been shattered forever. Police set up roadblocks, searched every possible road, and coordinated with surrounding towns. Every moment felt critical. The manhunt stretched across miles of shadowed highways and forests, and with every passing hour, the urgency increased. The knowledge that Mara's life hung in balance became a silent, relentless drumbeat in every officer's mind. Detectives pored over Mara's phone data late into the night. The GPS revealed patterns, movements, and anomalies that told a story no witness could. Each ping placed her farther from safety, and every timestamp narrowed the window of her last hours. They realized the case was more calculated than random. Someone had been waiting for her, tracking her every step. The abandoned barn appeared untouched, yet every corner screamed of secrecy. Dust floated in the air as the detectives stepped inside, their flashlights cutting long, eerie shadows across the floorboards. A place once forgotten now became central to a mystery that would reveal the darkest part of human behavior, hidden away from the town for too long. Traces of blood marked the barn floor, a stark evidence of violence. Each drop became a piece of Mara's final struggle, speaking to the chaos and terror of her last moments. Detectives photographed, measured, and documented, knowing that even a single smear could tell a story the town might never want to hear, yet desperately needed to know. Further DNA testing revealed the presence of another person. The implications were immediate. Mara had not been alone. This discovery shifted the investigation from a random act to something deeply personal. Someone close to her routine, someone with knowledge, had been involved. And the search for answers became a search for someone hiding in plain sight. The DNA matched Victor Hales, Mara's ex-boyfriend. A man who had once been part of her world was now part of her nightmare. The detectives considered what they knew of him: his temper, his obsession, his proximity. For Victor, familiarity had turned into danger, and the investigation now centered squarely on a person who once shared her trust. Victor's interrogation was tense. The fluorescent lights above him flickered slightly, echoing the flicker of truth in his statements. His hands clenched, his voice wavered, and small inconsistencies began to surface. Detectives pressed with precision, knowing that each pause, each hesitation, could betray a secret hidden deep within the night Mara vanished. Traffic cameras revealed Victor's car moving toward the barn the night Mara disappeared. The grainy footage captured fleeting glimpses of movement, shadows shifting under streetlights. Each frame, though indistinct, became crucial evidence. Even in the darkness, the story of his presence, and perhaps of what would follow, was beginning to emerge. Victor's alibi could not withstand scrutiny. Witnesses' statements, surveillance footage, and call logs contradicted his story. The detectives realized that the man who claimed innocence was now the prime suspect. With each unraveling detail, the case became more ominous. Trust had been broken, and the shadow of guilt began to settle firmly on Victor. Before police could apprehend him, Victor disappeared into the night. Tires screeched along empty roads, headlights cut through fog, and the manhunt began. The once safe town was gripped by fear. Victor had become both the key to solving the case and a specter of dread, moving freely while detectives raced against time to catch him. State police and local authorities spread out across highways and forests. Every roadblock, every searchlight, every patrol aimed to contain the fugitive. The community watched in tension as officers coordinated, knowing that Mara's fate depended on capturing the man who had once been part of her life. The hunt stretched across miles of darkness, relentless and unyielding. Days into the search, an anonymous tip came in. A voice, distorted, urgent, claimed that Victor was hiding in the mountains. Detectives immediately mobilized, knowing that even the smallest lead could finally bring them to Mara, or at least to the answers her family desperately needed. In every tip, there was hope and risk. The cabin in the mountains appeared abandoned, but signs suggested recent occupation. Items left scattered, a faint smell of smoke in the air, footprints leading to the door. It was a place of secrets, a hidden chamber where Mara's fate and Victor's desperation intersected. The detectives prepared to uncover what lay within these walls. Inside the cabin, Mara's scarf lay folded, knotted, abandoned. It was a silent testimony to her presence, a trace of her life in a space now tainted by fear. Detectives felt a chill as they realized that every small object could tell a story, every piece of evidence a clue to the final moments of a life so cruelly interrupted. Footprints in mud led deeper into the forest, winding and hesitant, revealing movement under pressure, under fear. Each step told a story of flight, panic, and secrecy. Detectives followed the trail with care, understanding that every footprint brought them closer to a truth far darker than they had imagined. On the rocky mountain ridge, Victor was cornered. Disheveled, desperate, armed, and aware that escape was no longer possible, officers positioned themselves, tension thick in the cold air. In this moment, years of deceit and violence would come to a head, and the truth of Mara's fate would finally emerge. Hours of negotiation led to a confession. Victor admitted to meeting Mara that night, his voice trembling with panic and guilt. His words revealed a tale of conflict, accident, and terror, one that had spiraled out of control. The detectives documented every detail, knowing this confession would unravel the mystery that had haunted the town. According to Victor, a heated argument escalated into a struggle. Mara had fallen and hit her head, an accident compounded by fear. The barn, the forest, the mountains, all became stages in a tragedy that had begun as love and ended in horror. The detectives pieced together the sequence, every detail painting a clearer picture of that fateful night. Panicked, Victor moved Mara's body to the barn, hoping to conceal the accident. Each action was desperate, a misguided attempt to avoid accountability. The detectives traced every step, understanding the psychology behind his decisions. The blend of fear, guilt, and shame that led to further tragedy. Eventually, Victor revealed where he had left her. In a remote forest clearing, far from prying eyes, Mara lay in silence. The detectives approached with caution, knowing the gravity of what they would find. The forest, once a place of quiet solitude, now held the story of a life taken too soon. Recovery teams in white suits carefully retrieved Mara's remains. Every motion was methodical, respectful, and precise. Her family, watching from a distance, felt the painful weight of finality. The truth was now fully revealed, a tragedy confirmed, and the path to justice had begun. Victor's trial began, and the courtroom became a stage for every painful detail. Evidence was presented, timelines reconstructed, and testimony laid bare. Every participant felt the weight of the story, understanding that Mara's final hours would now guide the pursuit of justice, the measure of accountability, and the memory of a life lost too soon. Witnesses recounted events, detectives described the investigation, and the jury absorbed every fact. The process was deliberate, meticulous, and emotionally charged. The town followed closely, aware that this trial was more than a legal procedure. It was a reckoning for the violence that had shattered their community. After 3 days of deliberation, the jury reached its conclusion. Guilty. Victor Hales had been found responsible for Mara's death. The courtroom held its breath as the sentence was pronounced, and while justice had been legally served, the pain of loss remained etched in the faces of those who loved her most. Victor received 40 years in prison. Justice was measured, but it could never undo the past. For Mara's family and the town, it was a bittersweet closure, a formal acknowledgement of responsibility, but no relief for the absence, the silence and the grief that would linger indefinitely. Hawthorn Ridge began to heal. Life returned to the streets, forests, and homes. Slowly, routines resumed, but memories lingered in every quiet corner. Candlelight vigils became acts of remembrance, and the town learned to balance grief with resilience, carrying forward lessons born from tragedy. Mara's story reminds us that danger often hides in the most familiar places, and trust can be betrayed in an instant. Justice may be served, but loss is permanent. Hawthorn Ridge would remember her always, and through memory advocacy and community, her story would endure, a testament to courage, truth, and the pursuit of justice.